Nobody has joined yet. Hopefully people will join soon. So I am Teacher Prix, and I want to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Well, while people are joining, today I'm gonna try to see the chat on the computer, because I am live on my cell phone. So hopefully I'll be able to see it. Oh, maybe I will, I'm not sure. Hello Ricardo, how are you doing? Hi Robins, Tony, Robins Tony, that's a different twist. Hello Mental Vortex. Oh, I just said hi to you, Ricardo. How are you? Where are you from? I imagine you're from Brazil. Where? What state? Oh, hello Giovanni, how are you doing? It's so interesting. I see myself on the computer and on the cell phone. Cool. If you're new to the channel, if you just popped up here, please consider subscribing. Every week I post different kinds of videos. Oh, hello from Paris. Hello from Vietnam. Oh, Robin Stoney is from Vietnam. That's nice. Hello, Edvan from Ceará. That's so nice that you guys are here. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed it yet, please consider subscribing. Every week I post different kinds of videos. Hello Jaime, how are you? I post different kinds of videos to help people from all over the world improve their speaking skills, improve their English skills, and get more motivated to study English. So as I've been talking to you guys last week during the live video for the 3-day challenge Q&A, I told you that I would be doing this live video every week, every Friday. Oh, thank you so much, Giovanni. Oh, and hello, Abdelatif from Morocco. That's a difficult name. Hey, Antonio, that's so nice you're here. And as I told you during the live Q&A from last week, I said that I would be doing more live videos, right? And here I am. I'm very happy that I'm making this video. I would just like to start by apologizing because it's live and I'm still getting the hang of this. So there may be some noise. I'm still getting a few things, learning more about live videos. So, but the noise is something I can't prevent, okay? My city is very noisy. Hello, Luis. I am doing great. I had a very nice day. How about you? So, as I also told you last week, I asked you guys, I have been asking you guys to leave me questions on Twitter. Huh. Training by the following topics with better skills. And I also asked you to leave me questions. Well, as I told you, I'm still getting started with the Twitter, and the purpose, let me explain this a little because some people were confused. I will try to answer the questions from the chat. Of course, obviously, I love hanging out with you guys, and I will answer as many questions as I can. But when I get your questions from Twitter, I have a little bit more time to prepare. Maybe it's something very specific, like for example today. Today one of the questions I'm gonna answer, I'm gonna focus on, is from João Paulo. João Paulo, I'll be answering your question tonight. I hope you watch this video. Jaime, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How about you? Is it very sunny where you are? Right now here in São Paulo, it is a bit cold. Let me see how cold it is. Every day I check this. I can't wait for summer to come back. I miss summer. Well, summer is not my favorite season, but I definitely miss warmer days. How about you? What's your favorite season? Here in São Paulo is 16 degrees Celsius. Let's see in Fahrenheit. In Fahrenheit, there would be 60 degrees. And for me, that's already cold, okay? It's very, very cold. Feeling lazy, Jaime, I see. Louise, you're nice too. That's nice to hear. That's nice that you guys are here with me tonight. I'm super excited that you are with me. So, I told you guys to ask me the questions as I was explaining so that hi Reinaldo, how are you doing? So that I could have some time to prepare, because depending on the question, and even today I'm trying to see the the questions, if you ask some questions here, depending on the question, it's better if I have a little bit more time to prepare, to give you a more complete answer, to give you a better explanation, because that's basically my purpose. And even when you guys post comments, I love reading the comments. Sometimes it's difficult to answer all of them right away. Oh yes, can you be a little lower? Yes, of course, Robbins, of course. And even in the comments, I love replying the comments, but sometimes because I get many of them, it's hard to reply all of them. But one thing I try to do is to turn your comments, your questions from the comments into videos. Okay, so I always pay attention at what you guys are writing to me in the comments. So yes, I love reading the comments, but above all, I love preparing videos based on your requests that you make during the comments, and now from the requests you are making for me on Twitter. Okay. Hello, Gilmar. I believe it's Gilmar or Gilma. I'm not sure. Maybe I misread it. I think here is Gilma. Good morning, Huan Neng. Is that how you pronounce your name? Huang Nyang. I hope so. Where are you from, Huang? I would guess some Asian country, but I'm not sure. I don't know exactly. Shi Huang Heng. That's a difficult name. Hello, Mohammed. How are you doing? Well, and the question I got for this week was a very interesting question, and not a very simple question. Oh, I don't speak your language. I'm sorry, Robbins. You have to speak English so that I can understand your comment. I'm looking at my computer screen. That's an interesting question, William. I will get to it. It is possible for you to say that, but I will get there. I will get to your question. Hello from India. Hello from Vietnam. Oh, that's nice, Huang. So the question I got from Juan, I'll spend some time answering that question. It might help you. I don't know where you are right now in your English level, but at some point you may need it for business. At some point you may need English for a very specific situation. And this question from João Paulo is very interesting. João asked me on Twitter how to make a study plan for the test Toeic. Do you know the Toeic test? Do you know the Toeic exam? This is a test of English for international communication. Okay, basically the Toeic test is going to analyze how your level of English, but just not any English, your business English. Okay, so this test is focused. The Toeic main goal is to test your business English, the English you are going to use in the workplace. Okay, and it's a very popular test. Millions of people do this test every year. TOEFL as well, but it's a different one. Let me just hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, right now my computer is asking me to restart, like seriously, right now? Come on. So, let's delay this. Okay, that should be fine. All right. It is very popular, as popular as TOEFL, but TOEFL is different. And why is it different? Because TOEFL is general English, academic English, and the Toeic is business English. And even companies today may require this exam from you. For example, if you are a candidate. Okay, oh, hello, Mohammed, good morning for you. So companies may require this certificate from you, or sometimes it's a level test inside companies. Sometimes you are already an employee and they may require you to do this level test just to check your level of business English. So it's a very useful test, but it's a very specific one, okay? Now, there are two kinds there are two kinds of TOEIC tests, and I will focus more on one than on the other, because otherwise this would be too long, and I also want to answer all the other questions I get here on the chat. But basically there is one test that is reading and listening. Okay, they're just going to test the reading and the listening, and the other test is going to test your writing and your speaking. Okay, the reading test, let me see here one thing. Oh yeah, the reading test is about 75 minutes, and you get around 100 questions. Okay, and in the reading test for the TOEIC, the texts will be very short. Okay, unlike, for example, the TOEFL test. The TOEFL test sometimes has long texts and many questions per section. Not the TOEIC. The TOEIC will have short texts and 4 to 5 questions for you to answer. Okay, and the listening test. So this test is reading and listening. The listening test is about 45 minutes and 100 questions, more or less. And the accent of the speakers, guys, get ready, because you can get British accent, American accent, Australian accent, Canadian accent, and so you need to be prepared to understand the different kinds of accents. Okay, now, how should you prepare for this? And I just read a question over there, how to prepare for TOEFL. And I did make a video about this. Okay, I gave some tips to study for TOEFL. Take a look at my channel, you will see. But you can get some ideas, some inspiration from my explanation now, because it's also a certificate, it's also an exam, it has listening, it has writing, it has reading. So you can get some ideas from this explanation and use them when you study for TOEFL, okay? But focusing on TOEIC, I will give you some ideas on how to study for the reading exam and how to study for the listening exam, okay? So I will give you 5 best tips for the reading exam, for the reading part, and my 3 best tips for the listening part. Okay, I'll be looking a little bit at my notebook. You don't see my notebook, but it's right here, so that I remember the tips correctly, because as I've told you, live videos mess me up and I tend to forget things. So here we go. As I told you, TOEIC is about business. So if you are not familiar with business English, this exam will be very difficult. Okay, so you need to prepare yourself. And João, business English is not complex, but it takes time for you to feel comfortable with that. Okay, so my first tip for the reading section is you need to study grammar. And many times the students, oh my goodness, teacher, study grammar. But here the focus is different. We are talking about a certificate, an exam, a test. So it's important that you review verb tenses, transition words, conjunctions. The tenses need to be okay. Like just a student now asked about present perfect and simple past. These tenses need to be very clear for you so that your reading can get better. So you need, during your study plan, you need to dedicate some time to study grammar. And I think that if you want to do this exam, you should be at least intermediate. So get an intermediate or upper intermediate grammar book to support you in this study, okay? My second valuable tip for the reading and also for the listening is old practice tests, okay? And what do I mean by that? Today you can find many old versions of the test, previous tests. On the internet you can find books that have 5, 10 practice tests. The best way to prepare yourself for a test is to do many practice tests. So the more tests you do, the more TOEIC practice tests you do, the more comfortable you will become with the format of the exam, the more comfortable you will become with the vocabulary, okay, with the structure of the test. So, Yes, that's a very interesting comment. Alain is commenting here. Let me get back to my computer to see his comment. I work at a multinational company in Brazil, and I've noticed many employees have the business English, but they don't have the general one. Yes, this is very common, Alain. They get so focused on business English because they need it so much that because of that, they end up lacking the general English because they don't have many opportunities to use the general English. Okay, now going back to the explanation. The more practice tests you do, the more comfortable you will feel with the test. And sometimes I see many people failing to do this. They just go and they do the test, but they are not familiar with the exam. And you only become comfortable and familiar with it when you do practice tests, okay? My tip number 3 is a vocabulary flashcards. What's this? And this is something I will also make a video about, but today I'll just be very quick. For Toeic, you really need to study specific business vocabulary. So my advice is do flashcards. What would be a flashcard? Flashcard would be, let's see here, would be a piece of paper where on the front you write the word and on the back you write the meaning, preferably in English, okay, no translation. So, and then during your day you study. Now, Priscilla, this is not practical. I'm not gonna walk around with pieces of paper in my wallet, in my backpack. So what can I do? This is not a practical idea. I agree. What you can do is there are many apps that you can download that will do that for you. One very popular app you can download is Anki. And basically Anki is a flashcard. All right, you go there, you type the word you want to study, you type the meaning, the explanation of the word, and during the day you can go back there and study. Now, the only thing that the app doesn't do is remind you automatically. Nice, William. Yes, I'm trying to be as normal as I can be. I'm glad you understand everything. Good job. And basically the Anki app will help you with the vocabulary flashcard because it is a kind of flashcard. Now you have to go back to the app, you have to open the app and read and study. It's not gonna pop up on your cell phone and tell you to review, to study. You have to do it, okay? My tip number 4 would be read more about business. And for that, during the day, you know, try to access the internet and read articles related to business. Try to find as many texts about business as possible, okay? And my tip number 5, I told you, oh yes, I told you about the flashcard, and now to finish the reading tip, what I could say to complement is buy a specific book, and all the book suggestions I make here, I will give links to where you can get these books. I will give you links to where you can get more information about these books. As soon as I finish the video, I will post in the comments all the links of where you can find these materials because they're very useful. And not just materials, okay? I will also post links to a very nice YouTube channel for business that I really like and a very nice business English podcast that I really recommend for those people who are looking for business English. Okay, so I think using a book that works on vocabulary is very important. All right, look, here we have Reinaldo uses Anki. That's very nice. It's a flashcard program. He's confirming what I say. I hope you are using it in English, okay? English to English, no Portuguese or I think you're Brazilian, right? And one suggestion of a vocabulary book is 600 Essential Words for Toeic. Now, you may think, Priscilla, 600 words? Come on, it's a lot. Don't be worried about the quantity, but within this book, you will find useful words that you will come across in the exam. That's why it's a useful book. Plus, you can also use these words ideas on your Anki, on your APP to study the flashcard. Okay, so it'll give you insight, it'll give you ideas. Okay, now another thing that I want to suggest on top of the vocabulary book, and this is like a very important tip for both the reading and the listening part. Okay, João? I'm saying João a lot because that's the guy who asked me this question. So João, I hope he's not watching the live video. I haven't seen him around here, but when you do, let me know in the comments, okay? And another thing that I always recommend to my clients, to my students, and to whoever asks me when they are studying for a certificate, and this for the person who asked me about TOEFL, it's the same suggestion. You need a skill book. What is a skill book? This skill book is going to give you the best strategies to answer each kind of question in the exam. Okay, so for example, in this case for the Toeic, there is a very nice book called Building Skills for the Toeic Test. One second. Oh, okay, I will answer that question after. As soon as I'm done here, I will answer some questions from the chat. And the name of the book, as I was saying, is Building Skills for the Toeic Test. This is a book that is basically going to teach you how to answer questions in the exam. What kind of approach you should have when you are answering these questions. That's why it's a very useful book, especially if you are studying alone. If you unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to have a teacher or to go to a school to prepare for the test, this is a good book that is going to help you study for the exam, okay? Because it's going to show you how to answer the questions in the exam, to give you ideas on how to prepare yourself, okay? I will also leave this in the link, okay? Abidelatif, that's such a difficult name, my goodness. Abidelatif, I just answered your question. So a skill book is very useful for the TOEFL as well. There is a nice book for TOEFL. I will get the name of the book and I will leave in the comments as well. All the suggestions I make here about books and videos and podcasts, I will leave in the comments when the video is over. Right now I can't really do it, sorry. Now, moving on to the listening tips, I have 3 tips. They will repeat themselves a little bit because at the end of the day, when you get the skill book, João, you will be able to practice not only the reading, but also the listening, okay? And this, I am considering that you take the reading and listening test, not the writing and speaking, because then it would be another kind of strategy. But most students here in Brazil, when they look for my help, not just in Brazil but other countries as well, usually when they ask for my help, it's for this specific test, for the reading and listening. But the writing and speaking test is becoming very popular as well. Now for the listening, my tip number 1 is the business podcast. You need to listen to podcasts, to business podcasts, not seeing the video, just listening, so that you sharpen your listening skills. Sometimes you have a very good listening, but a very good listening for general English. Now we are talking about business English. You need to be very good at that too. And this takes time, this takes practice, okay? Now, one thing you need to know about the listening test is that there is no replay of the audio. You cannot listen again, you cannot repeat, okay? That's why you need to develop some strategies to make sure you understand as much as possible, okay? And this skill book that I mentioned before is gonna help you do that, okay? Now, I will leave a link to a very nice podcast website. They focus on business English, so I will leave the link. Make sure to check it out. And my tip number 2 is yes, I'm getting more questions here, and I know I will get back to all these questions, well, as many as I can, because now I can read here on my computer all the questions in the chat. I will get back to them. Now, the second tip is when you are listening, when you are doing the test and you are listening, you need to write things down. You need to take notes. But when we are talking about taking notes, hello Jaisa, how are you doing? When we are talking about taking notes, there are two kinds of students. We have one kind, they don't like to take notes. No notes. No, thank you very much. I just listen. And we have the other kind. Let's write everything down. Let's write it down. We need a balance. Okay, we need to find a balance. You can't just not write anything when you are doing the test, okay, when you are doing the listening test, and you cannot just try to write everything you listen, because it's not a dictation test, okay? And to find this balance, you need to practice too. So going back to the podcasts can be a wonderful way for you to try to take notes, to organize how you should take notes, because the listening test on Toeic is about taking notes of keywords, important words, not everything. But then you may have a question, but Priscilla, how do I know that this is a keyword and this is not a keyword? Practice. It takes time for you to identify that. And how can you identify that? By practicing. You can go back to the practice tests. Remember I said in the reading, the practice tests, you will have many examples of listening exercise. This is a good way for you to practice, okay? And my final thing about the listening test is sometimes when we are practicing at home, hello, I do live in Brazil, I'm from São Paulo. Sometimes when you are practicing the listening exercise at home, you may have the perfect headphones. You may have the perfect sound, the perfect volume, it's so good, everything's clear, it's silent, no noise. And then you do the test, you do great. But what can happen, and it does happen, I will tell you a story that proves that it's true. On the day of the exam, you may not get the perfect sound. Of course, they will give you good equipment for you to listen, but sometimes the sound may be too low, okay? Or maybe in front of the building where you are doing the test, there is a construction and there will be a lot of noise. And how do you do if that happens? What do you do if that happens? And many people get very stressed out when this happens. And let me tell you one story. This happened to me many years ago. I don't know how long. I was going to do the TOEFL test for the first time. And I was very confident, you know, I studied hard. I was ready to do the test. I practiced every day. Game on. And at the end of the test, I remember getting out of the building. My father was waiting for me and I was crying. I'm very dramatic. Because the sound was really, really bad. I couldn't hear it well. The sound was really bad. There was a lot of noise around and the sound was too low. I didn't prepare myself for that. I didn't prepare myself for interferences. And sometimes when we are studying at home, we have an unrealistic preparation because we don't consider interferences. So one thing you need to do is, how can you do this at home? You have to study and prepare yourself as usual, silence, concentration, but sometimes try to listen to exercises in noisy situations, in noisy areas, with sounds disturbing you, so that you can prepare yourself for the best scenario and for the worst scenario. This is important. And after I had that experience, I started to prepare myself for situations of perfect audio and situations of horrible audio, because that's how you prepare your listening. Because the truth is, you are not gonna have the perfect audio all the time. Sometimes you're gonna be on the street talking to someone, to a native speaker, and there will be noise of cars and police cars. You know, there will be lots of sounds. And it's important that you prepare your listening for that, especially for an exam like Toeic, so that you don't feel frustrated after so much dedication and so much preparation to have a problem like this that you were not expecting. To finish your question, João, what after giving all these tips, how do you build your study plan? The first thing you need to ask yourself now is how much time you are going to dedicate. Because in this specific case, 15 minutes every day, it's not gonna be good. Hi Bruno, how are you? This is not gonna be enough, okay? You need to have at least 1 hour, twice or 3 times per day, okay? A week, sorry. So you need to dedicate more time to this study. And then once you sit down and decide how many days a week you are going to study, then you can go back to my tips. And on one day you can dedicate time to do grammar and the podcasts. On the other day you can dedicate some time to watching business videos and studying the skill book. On the other day you can dedicate some time to studying the vocabulary book, and then you balance. Every day you study 1 or 2 different things, but that depends on how much time you're going to dedicate and how often. And at the end of the day, what is going to help you pass this exam is how consistent you are with this schedule. Okay, so be realistic. You may try to start with 7 days a week, but we are busy people. Sometimes you will only be able to do 4 days a week, or 3 or 2, but be consistent with the days you decide to study, okay? So I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. I'm very thirsty, okay? Gosh, I talk too much. That's why. And just watching myself drinking water, that was so weird. Okay, now I'm gonna get here to the questions. Now, if you want to have a complete answer like this that I just gave to João, you have to ask me questions on Twitter too. Okay, maybe next week I will dedicate half an hour just to answer your questions. Yes and no, Jaime. I still have some time. I'm gonna stay like 10 minutes more and I will try to answer a few questions. But to emphasize as much as I did for João's question, for example, I would need to see before on Twitter so that I can prepare something very nice, especially for you. So if you want to have me talking for 30 minutes to answer this specific question you may have, and I would love to, let me know on Twitter. Or even if you're not on Twitter, I understand many people are not on Twitter, and that's cool. You can find me on other social media. I'm on Instagram, I am on Facebook, what else? I'm on Google+, so you can find me in other places. But I need a little bit more time to answer this question. So let me go back here on the chat. Let's see if that is possible. Yes, it is. Okay, I saw some very interesting questions here. Now, William said, Priscilla, Prix, can you explain to me? I haven't eaten breakfast this morning. One thing I noticed from many people is that when we are using present perfect, many students forget to say the verb in the correct conjugation. Remember that when you are using present perfect, you need to conjugate the main verb in the 3rd column. Oh, can you say my name, please? Bader. Well, that is not your name. What is your real name? That's your nickname, huh? Gotcha. Many students forget to conjugate the verb, the main verb, correctly. So for example, go in the past is went, and on the past participle, which is the conjugation you need for present perfect, you would say gone. For example, in this case, eat in the past is ate, and in the past participle you say eaten. So his example was, I haven't eaten breakfast this morning. And he doesn't know if he cannot, why he cannot use, I didn't have breakfast this morning. The truth is, you may listen to native speakers saying, I didn't have breakfast this morning. But if you think about it, this morning is already over. You know, it's in my country right now, it's 9 p.m. And well, this morning is over. So you can, okay, but you can also use the present perfect to give this idea. So in your example, it highly depends, okay, because I have seen both scenarios where people use present perfect. I haven't eaten breakfast this morning, and because they are thinking of the consequence of not having had breakfast, okay, because the present perfect also gives this idea of something you did in the past that gives you a consequence to your present, okay? I haven't had breakfast this morning. That's why I'm feeling sick. It's a consequence because I didn't have breakfast, okay? So it highly depends on what your purpose is in this case, okay? Now let's see what else. Abdelif said that he understands me and he studies a lot. That's great. Al-BM, I don't know if that's how you say your name. He says, do you have any advice to be so fluent like me in this case? You know, I get this question on YouTube every day, Al-BM. And this is a very interesting question because I have been studying English for, how old am I? My God, for more than 10 years. And I still sometimes watch my videos to look for mistakes, to look for ways to improve my English. So how long it takes to be fluent? How do you define fluency? Because fluency has, there are so many things that could explain what fluency is, to make how confident you feel to speak in meetings, how confident you feel to use English on a daily basis. And it's also important to understand that making mistakes does not mean you are not fluent. If you are able to watch movies, to listen to music, to have different kinds of conversations, to read well and write well, there you go. You are an excellent speaker, okay? Now, to be that, you need to study. There's no secret recipe. You really need to dedicate a lot of your time. Earlier, back in the day, when I was a student, I would study for 4 or 5 hours a day. A lot. And I still do. But in a different way, I study English all day long. And I'm already a teacher. So you never really stop. Okay? It's work in progress. The more you study, the better you get. Okay? Let's see. I love the teacher's voice. Woohoo! Thank God. Imagine if you didn't like my voice. Listening to me would be torture. Okay, let's see. I'm being silly. It's Friday. I'm usually sillier on Fridays. Oh, it's the morning in Egypt. How cool. I would love to go to Egypt someday. I want to see the pyramids. What's my name on Facebook? Well, I have a page on Facebook. You can find my page on Facebook, okay? It's Teacher Prix BR, B as in basketball and R as in rock, okay? So you can find my Facebook page. I will also leave a link after I finish the video because right now I don't know how to do it, okay? I'm sorry. Let's see what other questions I get. I still have a little more time. Okay, let's see. You can't add trying to find more questions because I did see more questions. Oh, Bader Crazy, I don't know how to say, Cat said, you're not putting videos about how to think in English anymore. I already shot another video of how to think in English. It should be up either next week or the following, okay? I'm not sure, but I did make a new video and I'm making new ones, I promise. I love making the how to think in English videos and I'm glad that you're asking. That's good. Okay, let's see. Oh, how to practice your speaking yourself, of course, if it's possible. You know Juan Garcia, I don't know where you're from, but I like to say Juan Garcia. Sounds the Spanish to me. And practicing by yourself can help you, okay? I say that because I do that sometimes. I practice with myself, other languages, of course, not English. But that's why I make the How to Think in English videos, to help you get ideas, to help you exercise your brain during the day, to think in English, okay, to think of the language during your day. But I would recommend trying to find someone you can talk to. Okay, it doesn't have to be a teacher, because usually students think, oh, so I need to find a teacher. Right now, I cannot pay for a teacher, or right now, it's not possible for me. And I understand that. You don't need to do that. Today, we have so many kinds of social media. There are so many people trying to find other people to talk to. I always share my videos on groups on Facebook, and I read people's posts there, and they are always asking for people to talk to. But you can practice speaking to yourself. It is a nice exercise. I talk to myself in English all day. I'm here planning my videos, planning my classes, and I am thinking, you know, I'm hungry. What should I eat? I should be thinking about work, but I'm usually thinking about food. And that's how you practice the language. Make it fun. Make jokes about it. Interact, not just with the feeling of obligation to learn, but to have fun with it. But my advice is balance. You can practice by yourself, but try to find students, people who are studying English too. Here in the chat, find people who want to practice English too. Okay, this is a huge platform. There are many people out there trying to find other people to practice English with. Then I have another question. What is your opinion? How can we learn vocabulary? We should learn by translation, I imagine, or English to English. English to English. Okay, I have made a few videos now about translation. I did make a video about how to think in English. I don't remember. Oh, and I have a very nice article on my blog. Okay, I will also leave a link to my blog. And I made an article, I wrote an article just about the problem with translation. Okay, now my advice is English to English, all right? Because as you move forward, as you improve, as you go to another level, to a higher level, there are less translations and more explanations, okay? And many students who come from basic and get to intermediate get very frustrated because they can't understand the words. And when they get the translation is not good enough. Okay, the translation doesn't help a lot, and this is gonna keep happening. The more specific and complex vocabulary you study, the more difficult it'll be to translate it. Now, obviously, there are words we can translate, and sometimes there are words we need. But don't rely too much on translation, okay? Use it strategically. I always tell my students to go to Google Images, find different ways to connect with the word. Because the word, you will only learn a word if you connect with it, if it really means something to you, okay? Okay, I'll answer one more question. Teacher Prix, have you considered making videos with other English? Have you ever considered making videos with other English teachers here on YouTube? Like, I would love to. That's actually something I have been thinking about. And oh, see you later, Jaime. That's something I'm thinking about, but I haven't really talked to people yet. But I do want to make collaboration videos. I'm planning on making them, but so far nothing yet. Guys, another live video. I'm super happy that you stayed here with me and that you participated, that you left your comments. Clesios, thank you so much for your comment. I saw that you made some comments here. Thank you so much. You also agree that English to English is better, right? Marian, hello. So happy you were able to join. Oh, João, hey, that's so cool. You're there. Watch this video, buddy, and let me know what you think of the tips, okay? I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for being with me and for supporting me. I see your comments on YouTube, always sharing your opinions, sharing the videos. It helps me a lot when you share the videos on your social media. I know I ask you every video, share, share, share. It really helps me and it really keeps me motivated when I see your like, when I see your comment, okay? And that is so great. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will make another live video next week, next Friday. If you want a very complete answer like I gave João, leave me a question on Twitter, okay? Tag me there and follow me on Twitter. I would be very happy. I type different things because, you know, I have Facebook, I have Twitter, I have YouTube, and I have Instagram, but I try to post different things on these different platforms, okay? So if you follow me on Twitter, maybe we'll be talking about TV series. I was just talking to, what's his name? Let's see here. I think his name is, wow, I am so fast. Jesus. Oh, Kevin Zhang. Kevin Zhang is also likes a Game of Thrones, and we were just talking about it. So follow me on the different platforms and we will be able to interact more, okay? So have a good night, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!